born in Tennessee, where freedom is alive. You hear shots ring from the woods, take on 45. Life is good, she's whatever any prophet should. There's comments here in Nashville neighborhood, in the land of the free. Life is good, he's always shaking down in. He wouldn't be living if he could. Life is good.
Yes, Hickok 45 coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee with an AR-15. I think that's what it is. Yes, the home of Alvin York, a lot of great people in Tennessee. And we're glad you're here in Tennessee with us today because I'm going to just talk a little bit and shoot a little bit, okay? So can I shoot the AR? All right, let's fire it a couple of times. Let's blow something up. 2-liter. Wow, how about another one? How about a bowling pin? Just goes right through them, doesn't it? What else? I know what let's do. Let's do this. Uh-oh, I'll let the cat out of the bag. It's not an AR-15. It's actually an M16 A1. It's John's. Let's do that again. Did you see that? That 2-liter came back at me and came back at me. Attack. That's what is that? That's 7 yards or something. That 2-liter got me almost. Appreciate you all dropping by again, and hope the light's not playing too many tricks on you. I'm a little different time here of the day and everything. A lot going on, and I just wanted to come over and shoot some, and it's just better to do it now than later. So thought I'd talk to you. Is that okay? Yeah. I'm being my typical schizophrenic self today. Speaking of that, have you seen these new schizophrenia commercials on the drug companies are running? Oh boy, I don't want to make fun of anybody with mental health problems. I should be the last person to make fun of anybody with a mental health problem or a joke, right? But Saturday Night Live could have a field day with those commercials, really, couldn't they? But enough on that. I don't mean to be insensitive. But yeah, schizophrenia, I got the M16 out, and also another assault firearm, this Schofield 45 Colt. And I was in the mood to shoot this thing. Haven't shot it lately. And then you know, John had the M16 out last night. We're both on the trust, so yeah, I might shoot that a little bit in the Sunday shoot around. Even though last week I had an AR-15. Okay, am I allowed to shoot 5.56 2 Sundays in a row? Sometimes, you know, again, the Sunday shoot-arounds are pretty much dependent upon my mood. When I'm in the mood to shoot, I don't mean to be ignoring you all and extremely insensitive, but a lot of it is just what I'm in the mood to shoot, right? Sunday shoot-around. And, of course, lots of firearms are chambered in 5.56. Yeah, most of them are some variation of the same rifle or pistol. And you can say the same for 45 Colt. You know, how many different firearms are chambered in 45 Colt? So there's still a lot of variety within that, and there's a little difference between a Vietnam style rifle, you know, an M16 A1 and an AR-15. Well, it's a Daniel Defense or whatever it might be. And by the way, this is an M16 A1. This is not a Colt or something, replica, reproduction. This was made in 1981, meant to be what it is. It wasn't converted, it was made to be what it is. Okay, so pretty cool. So you shoot that a little bit and have some fun, a little fun with it. I'm not gonna shoot it much. We shot it a fair amount yesterday, just messing around with it. And but anyway, I thought you all might like to see it on the Sunday shoot around. So I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. Well, keep in touch on the movie. Will be coming you know, at some point, and we will let you know. The Strain 100 I've talked about. You've seen the clip or two from it. What else? I'm not going to go into a lot of talk about the elections, okay? A lot of people accuse me of being too, well, not a lot, a handful, being too political on the Sunday shoot-arounds even. And so I really don't, even in these where I just kind of talk and shoot. I don't want to get too political, even though I don't get into the party politics. But it's funny, it's real obvious though when you step on somebody's toes, whether you're talking about party politics or not, you know, if you, you know, it's sort of natural for a lot of us gun owners and freedom lovers to make references to the nanny state or people who want more government instead of less government, that kind of thing. And so really you are stepping on some people's toes when you say things like that even, because there are a lot of people who are gun owners, or at least who are viewers of gun videos, that really don't want less government, you know, and you know, things like that. So yeah, so anyway, but all I want to say is, again, as has been said so many times, elections matter. You know, I know it sounds trite. You've heard that line a lot in the last 8 or 10 years maybe, but they really, really matter, which means voting really matters, and being active really matters at your local county level, state level, nationally, any way you can be. And you can't always have a lot of impact at the state level. Maybe if you live in a state that is as red as my Kawasaki mule, you know, it's as red as a fire engine, or it's as blue as the sky, you know, and not likely to change anytime really soon. And so I know going to the polls thinking that, you know, you're going to turn things statewide in terms of the national election, you know, and electors and everything. I know, you know, I understand that you feel like you have a slim chance there, right? But still, you'll vote because you need to be there voting anyway, and voting local for the local representatives and just everybody. Because, boy, so much is being done at the local level. So just no matter how young you are, how old you are, try to be at least active enough that you vote. You know, in all the elections, you keep up with things that are going on, county commission, just everything, because there are just a lot of, the thing is, and I forget it myself sometimes, until you meet these people, you see them in action, nationally, statewide, countywide. There are so many people that are serious busybodies. Now, that's kind of a negative term, but we need to be busybodies too. You know, busybodies trying to run things, change things, the squeaky wheel. And, you know, they're in the school system, they're the school board, they're the school board meetings. They're just, there's some people with, marginal ideas, maybe crazy ideas, and often they're the most vocal. And they may be a large group of them. And they're there to get things done and changed, and there's no opposition to them. And so school boards and commissions and representatives, they're hearing this. They're not hearing from other people, you, me, or whoever, you know. So, you know, we just have to be more active because the world is changing. No doubt about it. And so, yeah, that's all I'll say right now. I don't know how much else we can. It's kind of history for right now, but going forward, you know, just learn from the lessons of what's happened the last 2, 4, 6, 8 years, 10, 20, 50, whatever. Okay. So freedom is at stake always, and we got to keep that in mind. Can I shoot the Schofield? Will you get mad at me? Now y'all know what this is. Although there's a lot of new people every day, so. You know, we have several videos on the Schofield. And you know, my very first cowboy action shooting match I ever went to, I had this old Colt ready to fall apart. And I had a Schofield. I think it was a Navy Arms. This is a Cimarron. I guess they're all made kind of the same. But and that's what I used in my first cowboy action match. That's all I had. And that did fine. And I think I might have shot those for a couple of matches. And I got a pair of Rugers. And then kind of went from there and changed around different firearms. But the old Schofield there's something neat, special about top brake revolvers, aren't there? And y'all give me a hard time. The old cowboys about loading 5. There's people who always do, but it's just a habit. Even on the range, I just stick to. There's something really cool about top brake revolvers. I'm not sure. If I had to choose, I'm going to choose, the Colt single action, but I don't have to choose, and neither do you, really, right? So let's just take a couple shots with this thing. How about paper? Yeah, oh, bullseye. I ain't believing that. There we put one on the gong. If I can see it over there. That's a sweet sound, isn't it? Sweet sound. Was that 5 or was that 6? Yeah. Old Schofield top brake. Somebody was asking in a comment the other day. I saw on, I don't know, maybe it was on a Schofield video, but why these weren't more popular, the top brake revolvers. They're so cool. And why all of them aren't like this, and back in the day, because they're easier to load and unload and everything. And so what is the reason, you experienced folks? A lot of you know, don't you? I mean, I guess it's mainly the reason is that when you got the frame breaking open like that, it's not as strong. It's not as strong. And for 45 Colts, 44 Special, lighter things, it's not a big deal. But you try to beef those rounds up much, especially 44 Magnum or just hotter loads, or over a period of time, it's just not as strong as a one-piece frame. But probably take a lot of rounds to wear one out, especially 45 Colt, right? But they're just cool, too cool for school. They really are the way they work. Really like them, and so that's just a neat gun, no doubt about it. So since I got this military rifle out here, again, we want to shout out to all the vets and anybody that's a first responder of any kind. Been in battle, been in the military. Most people, I guess, have been in the military, not been in battle in terms of numbers. But this is cool. As I've said many, many times, the sound of freedom across the road. Muzzle loader, I can tell. I have not, been in battle, and I thoroughly enjoy these implements and being able to enjoy them and the freedom to enjoy them on a range. Why? Because of the people who carried these into battle, or things like this into battle, right? For you and me. And so I really appreciate everybody that has done that, and the whole 9 yards. So I know a lot of the wars and entanglements we get into, especially since World War II almost. They're more controversial, and what are we doing there, and should we have been there, and all that is debatable. But still, the people who are there, they're just doing what they're told, and they're putting their lives in harm's way. And a lot of people are doing it daily in this country against first responders, and then of course outside the country. So, but anyway, it's an interesting firearm, and again, the freedom to even own this. It ain't cheap, right? It shouldn't be so expensive, and there are some states where you cannot own one that fires full auto. But it's so cool. See, muzzle loader. Machine gun, single action revolver, they're all fun, aren't they? Let's shoot this a little bit, okay? Yeah, let's put this mag back in. All right. Oh boy. Oh man, what are we gonna shoot here? The range is not really set up for full auto, but I just thought I would take a couple of shots with it. Okay. There's a bowling pin down there that needs to be hit. I think we decided it might shoot a tad to the right. We may have to work on the sights. Let's try a red plate. Okay. Got to hold on top of the target, but that's okay. You want me to do the fun switch? What do you think? All right, let's do the fun switch. Oh, let's do it on this paper. How's that? I'll get a better angle here. All right. Well, the blast almost blew the target, or that was not the bullets doing that. That was just the blast against the cardboard. Pretty funny. So yeah, and the M16 fires from a closed bolt. So when it's open like that, it's like your AR-15. It's safe, nothing in it. So pretty cool. Did I ever tell you shooting is fun? And and of course, lube. Put a little bit on this M16 before I started. Ballstall on that, and Talon grips. You think I should put some Talon grips on this Schofield? I think I have some in my pocket on something, but I don't think I'll put them on the Schofield. Okay, maybe they could work on some wood grain rubber grips for firearms like this. You think? I don't know. I'm not going to keep y'all too late today. I'm having fun picking on my grandson this week, and I need to get back and pick on him some more, really. But what else was I going to talk about? Anything important? Well, you know, speaking of vets, I butchered this quotation from George Orwell several weeks ago, I think. You know, what he wrote long ago, was, "We sleep safely in our beds because rough men stand ready in the night to visit violence on those who would harm us." You know, and of course it's men and women now. But we sleep safely in our beds because rough men stand ready in the night to visit violence, to bring violence on those who would harm us. You know, so that we sleep safely in our beds. And whenever I see those lines, and you know, for years or decades, I thought, boy, that is so true. That is so true. And I think a lot of people, all of us at times, but I think a lot of people just are not aware of why they are able to do what they do and walk freely and do all the things that they do and we do on a daily basis in this country, and how we can complain about everything and we can protest, and we sometimes, I think, forget that the only reason we're all in a bubble. We accuse each other, don't we, of different ideologies, of being in the bubble, the echo chamber, and not thinking outside the box or seeing the other side and that sort of thing, or having exposure to the other way of thinking and all that. But we're all in one big bubble when you think about it. We're all in this big glass bubble in the United States, for example, protected by exactly what Orwell's talking about there, okay? From all of the forces that would like to jump on us, right? From around the world, whoever it might be. And of course they get through occasionally, but by and large, we just tend to forget. And they're standing ready with things like this to protect us, these evil guns, right? Well, how come every soldier who's protecting us is not evil? If these guns are so evil, they got an evil implement, you know? Everybody that's, trying to protect the nation. So obviously not the gun, is it? So anyway, in another little comparison too, I think about these things like if I give you a quick quiz question, okay, which one of these is more dangerous? Well, depends on whose hands it's in, right? In my hands, this is not too dangerous to anybody, or John's, you know. But this gun here, this old single action design, in the hands of somebody who is evil or means to do evil on you or me, this is a great deal more dangerous than this, right? A little lesson there, right? Wasn't that profound? I don't know if it's profound or not, but just something I think good to remind ourselves of, right? Gosh, I'm reminded of the line from, it's a great line, I always pull it out, talk to students about it, from To Kill a Mockingbird. It was Maudie Atkinson says about Atticus Finch somewhere in there that, she's talking about old Mr. Radley, who was like Boo Radley's father. Yeah, not his brother's father, but he was a real, well, and here I shouldn't have brought up, I don't get into religion, but he was in the novel kind of a extreme fanatic, and it's implied in the novel that, or almost directly stated, but that you can pretty well infer one of the reasons Boo Radley is just not quite right was because of his father and his, not the religion, but just his attitude. Same old deal. Religion's not dangerous. It's the human, religion of any kind. It's kind of like this gun, right? Here I'm getting off into, but in some people's minds or hands, it can be very dangerous, right? Just like this gun can. But anyway, there's a line in there that was just marvelous. Harper Lee writes something about, because you're comparing Atticus Finch about, I think Scout asked her dad something, she's asking Maudie something, and that, gosh, it's been too long since I've taught the novel, right? But that he said, well, it's hard to explain, Scout, or something, but the Bible in one man's hand could be more dangerous than a whiskey bottle in, say, your dad's hand, for example, Atticus Finch. So, and it's so true. I mean, there's so much truth in that, and it's great because, and again, it's not a knock against religion or alcohol, either one. It's just the contrast. You think of two extreme contrasts: a bottle of whiskey and a Bible is an extreme contrast. And well, like I was doing right here, in one man's hand or a woman, this could be way more dangerous than this M16 full auto. So how to get off on all that? Well, I sort of got into it, so I had to finish the thought, right? So things just streak across my mind, and got to share them. So can I shoot the Schofield again? I mean, I got it dirty, so I might as well shoot it. All right. Oh, let me also, before I forget, John's comedy schedule. He's going to be at, I forgot last week, at Gallatin, Tennessee, November the 14th. And that is at Philly's Game and Grill. Philly's Game and Grill in Gallatin, Tennessee on November the 14th at 9 o'clock. Okay, they've got a comedy thing going on there. All right, I'll be sure to mention that as I load this fine, dangerous firearm, right? So, well, a good example of what I was talking about is the Barkowitz, the son of Sam in New York City, killed a bunch of people back in the 70s. Yeah, 70s, I guess. Late 70s, midday, late 70s, because I know it was my first incarnation as a teacher. But I remember when all that happened. That's back when something like that was so crazy, and everybody was in shock, and it was so crazy. Now, something like that hardly makes the news. The world has become so crazy, right? But he's a little Charter Arms 5-shot revolver, and committed all that havoc with that. Killed, I don't forget how many people he killed, because he was crazy, evil, crazy, or whatever. Okay. So, just came to my mind as I was loading this little revolver. Let's shoot that thing again, a paper target. What else needs to be shot here? How about that red plate? A big plate. Click. Yeah, good old single action. So much fun. That's how strange I am. As much as I like to shoot everything, if I were over here by myself, I would have probably shot this like one time and then full auto a little bit like I've done, and that'd be enough for me. It's kind of cool. It's neat, and then I would shoot that probably more, maybe not more shots, but I like them both. I like them both, and this is pretty neat having, as I've said many times, one of the cool things about the freedom we have and military firearms. I just know there are probably some people that, gun haters, and people don't get out of the house enough because they're in their bubble, who think that all of us who collect old military firearms, military surplus firearms and things like this, that we're just G.I. Joe wannabes, right? And we imagine going to war. Like when I lie in bed at night before I go to sleep, I'm thinking, oh boy, wouldn't it be cool to take this into battle and get glassy and then dream about it. I really think a lot of people have that impression. There may be a few like that. I don't know, some people like that. Most of them are mall ninjas 12 years old, okay? But it's just interesting, the history of firearms and military firearms. Military firearms, as I've said before, you know, have pointed out there, they're usually really well made and rugged, and those kinds of things really appeal to me. I drove those old boxy Volvos in the 80s, for example. Didn't care what they looked like, didn't even have power windows. I just loved them, you know, and ended up costing me more on service though than some other cars. So I finally got away from the Volvos, but I liked them, and they weren't aerodynamic. They weren't cool. They were just well made. You know, they're like a Glock in a lot of ways. Maybe not as reliable, but anyway, military firearms are kind of like that. They guess what? They're made for rugged use. Is that a newsflash for you? And they're simple usually, and they work. They last a long time, durable, and all that. They're not pretty sometimes. 1911 we might consider pretty, but I mean they're not, you know, and they just work. So they're very interesting. If you enjoy these kinds of tools, it's just natural that you would gravitate, I think, towards a lot of the military surplus firearms. It's that simple. And maybe current military firearms, you know, if you have the licenses and can actually shoot them and try them. So anyway, pretty cool. I've got a 20 round mag here loaded. I'll shoot a few more, okay, while I have it. And again, it goes without saying, you know, the paperwork I'm looking at right there, and that's what you have to do. For those who don't know, let me grab it, okay? Don't go anywhere. All right, just lost half the audience, 3 of you, right? No. So, you know, I'll show you anything. But yeah, I keep it, anyway, a bag, we got it, and that's the paperwork. You have to have it with the firearm, okay? Or I guess a copy of it. You have to have it. So, you know, as I've said before, I don't agree with, basically, I'm not sure there is a gun law I do agree with, but the thing is, the way things stand, I could not, I won't speak for you, but I could not enjoy something like this if it were not legal. Right? I just couldn't enjoy it. I had an Uzi for 10 years, and I had that paperwork with it religiously, you know, and copies of it and everything. And we've all maybe talked to people that, hey, I know we can get this or that, or hey, you could convert something. Well, you go ahead and do that. You go ahead and spend the 10 years in prison, or risk it, or in whatever the fine is now. It used to be 10,000. I think it's a lot more now. But for that sort of thing, it's how would you enjoy it? How would you go out and shoot it like I'm doing today? You know, because it's hard to hide, for one thing, and you just wouldn't be able to enjoy it. You know? So anyway, there's not that much difference. So don't tell anybody between semi-auto and full auto if you know what you're doing with a firearm anyway. But it's kind of neat, Let's shoot it, okay? All right. We've got it on, let's put it on semi-auto first. We got to sight this thing in better, so I'm not sure where to hold. Okay. It got a whole lot higher than I thought. That mag's all right. Ah, yeah. Okay. I brought it up actually over the target, so we're going to want to work a little bit on the sights. All right, let's put it on full auto, see what it'll do. Let's shoot that thing again. Knocked him down. Okay, so enough fun. Anything else I need to talk about? I don't know. Probably not. So I'm going to let you go. I've got different things I was going to maybe talk about at some point, but Maybe I'll do more shooting in the future, and then not as much yakking about stupid stuff. Okay, I don't ever want to get to the point where I talk about stupid. Well, everything I talk about might be stupid, but don't want to talk about stupid stuff excessively. Even though it is Sunday, shoot around and kind of do what I want to do. Any questions about firearms? Any questions about either one of them? Like this one. How much it cost? It costs a lot. I'll tell you, on Class 3 firearms, it's real easy to get at the pricing on the dumb things. You just Google whatever it is, for sale, and they're very consistent. John knows more about than I do, but they're very consistent. You can name one, he can tell you what they go for, just because there's not a lot of variation, because you're paying so much for that sear, for the ability, the full auto capabilities, what you're paying so much for. If this guard is nicked up, or the barrel, the finishes off of it, or things like that, that would make a big difference if you're about to buy a Daniel Defense AR from your buddy. And but on something like this, it doesn't make as much difference, because whatever that nick or the scratches or the imperfections on the plastic or something, whatever that diminishes the value, like, I don't know, $500, you can replace all that and have that fixed for $600 or something, or whatever it might be. That is a very, very small percentage of what you have to pay for something like this, okay? So that's the thing. That's the reason, I guess. I mean, it's a pretty simplistic look at it, but that's kind of why that the prices are pretty consistent on whatever it is. You look up an Uzi, a Model B, or a Mini Uzi, or an M16 A1, or a Thompson, whatever variation of that is, or an AK. There's not a lot of variation, okay? And the bright side of it is it's not good. I mean, the whole reason they're so expensive, we know, because of the gun laws. But as far as an investment, you could make some worse investments than that, because they really do appreciate fast. Unfortunately, again, it's unfortunate that that's the way it is, but they really do. You could buy one, by the time all the paperwork clears, 6 months later or a year, you could sell it the day you get it and make a profit. They just go up. So, like real estate, unfortunately. All right. Talk to you about everybody that helps us, and we really, again, appreciate them, and I appreciate you all supporting them. You tell me often that you do, and I appreciate it. I know it's a tough time. It's a tough time not only in the firearms business or related areas. It's probably a tough time in some of your businesses that you're involved in, and so I really feel fortunate that it has not affected what I do right now. Of course, I could, essentially retired, or can be retired, or am retired, I guess. But well, I'm not really retired. I guess you're officially retired when you start, using your Social Security and your 401ks and all that. I guess I don't know when you retire, when you quit working, right? But is this work? Yeah. Well, anyway, whatever I'm doing, it hasn't affected me. Whereas if some of you, it may have affected a great deal. And again, we don't want to forget about you all, because you're probably a shooting enthusiast at some level if you're watching this, and you're having a hard time finding ammo, guns, and maybe even paying for them, because you might be out of work, or you're working fewer hours, or your job's totally gone, and that sort of thing. So again, I forget this whole business has been inconvenient for all of us. It's inconvenient for me. I get weary of having to where's a mask, where's my neckerchief, and all that, what's going on. And the county where I live, a lot of people, I mean, I know we'll get criticism for this, but in the county where I live, you run around, run the grocery, whatever, probably about 30% of the people wearing a mask. So if it's dangerous everywhere around where I live, okay, because a lot of people are just going on about their business. But still, I try to be respectful of other people, even if I do feel like I'm immune or whatever from that. but it's just a weird time, isn't it? And it's inconvenient and uncomfortable for all of us. But again, for some of you, some of us, not me, it's very inconvenient because again, you're operating on less income or no income, and you got all kinds of things going on because of this weird year that we've had, and the election and how that turns out has turned out might be the least of your worries. Even though it's on your mind, it's the least of your concerns because you're trying to figure out how to pay the electric bill, that sort of thing. So we need to remember there are a lot of people, like that, and keep doing what you do to contribute. The food bank is my primary charity, but whatever you can do locally at, food banks and, things like that, it's always good. Help people out. But anyway, I appreciate y'all coming by and hanging out with me a little bit while I ramble and shoot a little bit. I guess having both of these guns out again, it's a good day to re-emphasize, the importance of not being a gun bigot and enjoying. I left the round empty. There we go. And enjoying all of the types of firearms that are out there, because I legitimately enjoy shooting this Schofield as much as or more than I do a full auto. Now, I know that's weird. They're different. They'll have a piece of brass for some reason the 5.56 brass went a little further away, so I've got let me get a bullet, do the comparison, apples to apples. But just let me remind you that both of these are fun, okay? Both rounds are fun. Both guns are fun, and no doubt about it. So now if I'm going to battle tomorrow, I'm called into service, even at my age, I'll take this. And again, this is the A1. The M16 got a bad rap. Some of you can speak to that more intelligently than I can. All of you can speak more intelligently than I can, but some of you can speak with more authority on these firearms than I can. There's still a lot of people around that were some of that first group that got them. It's not like World War II. The Vietnam vets are still alive. But as I understand from my reading and stories and videos over the years, that it was the initial firearms. The chamber was not chromed. I don't know about the barrel. I don't think even the barrel was chromed. The chambers were not chromed, and they were using either ball powder versus stick powder, the wrong powder for the round, some things like that, clogging up the gas system, and then of course the chamber not being chromed, and then telling those soldiers they didn't really have to clean this thing. It was magic. Didn't have to clean it really, I think. And I think maybe didn't even supply cleaning kits with them. Is that right? So, those 2 or 3 things alone, wow. You need to clean your gun. I don't care if it's an AK. You need to clean them. There's just a lot of myths around there about even with an AK. I saw a short video. Who did that? They were sticking an AK just in some mud and pull it out, and it was jamming up. I mean, guns are not designed to be stuck in the mud. That's simple. And who does that? Anyway, but anyway, yeah, that was the problem. But they fixed that. I think it went through an evolution there, and then by the time I guess they designated the A1, or even before, they had the chambers chromed, the ammunition issues fixed, and we're beginning to educate soldiers about cleaning the gun. And when you talk to soldiers, current soldiers and vets in recent decades even, and ask them about these, the gun works, keep it clean, works fine. It's hard for me online. I see comments all the time. It's really rare that you find somebody who actually carried an M16 or any variant M4 that hates it. It really is. So they say keep them clean, they work. That's what I get and what I hear. So anyway, I'm going to shut up. And I'm going to let you go, and I'll talk to you next Sunday, okay? And like I said, I'll let you know when the movie comes out, and, well, I'll let you know, but you'll also know, because John will probably do a video and let you know that about 2 days after it's out that I am gone. I'm living in West Hollywood or somewhere, and I'm working on big movie projects, you know, with Brad Pitt, George Clooney. Who are some of the hot actresses these days? I lose track of that. When I started mentioning hot actresses, they're from, you know, like the 50s or something, or 70s. No, yeah, I'll be out there doing movies, I'm sure. So, no, we'll let you know. And it's been good to have you out in the woods today. And I hope your ears are okay. You had good hearing protection. So have a great Sunday and behave yourself. Don't let life get you down. Keep in mind, like I said, elections matter, and whether or not you're involved really matters. If you're in a battleground state and you didn't vote, you know, tell us the elections don't matter and what was wrong with you, right? So we'll get on to you a little bit about that. If you're in a battleground state, and now we know where all these battleground states are, so it's especially important to vote one way or the other. Whatever you believe, get out there and vote. So, talk to you later, and y'all take care. Have a great Sunday, because you know what I'm going to say, and it's true. You know, really, by and large, life is good.